This is a Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we take a look at some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning. We also take a look at some of the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 22nd of October 2021, and I am AX.
I am GW.
And I am GK. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. We begin with the Daily Nation. Governors in race to own 2022 parties.
Okay.
The Standard, another blow to Uhuru. The Star, Musalia, I'll ask Uhuru if he's supporting Raila. And the People Daily, will Uhuru heed order on judges? So, AX, why don't you give us your submission for us today?
With pleasure. So today I would like to talk to and about the judiciary. In what the Standard has termed, and I quote, another blow to Uhuru, the court ruled that the president's decision to reject the nomination of 6 judges was illegal. A 3-judge bench ordered the president to appoint the 6 judges within 14 days. And should he fail to do that, Chief Justice Martha Koome will appoint and swear them in. Now, what is the effect of this judgment? This judgment has effectively stripped the president of some of his powers, the very same powers that were designed to be a check and a balance to judicial power.
Correct.
And prevent the resurgence of a rogue judiciary. And now these powers have been effectively erased.
Yes.
In favor of what exactly? The appointment of 6 judges with NIS dossiers detailing the impropriety, and a president prevented from acting in the interests of the public. This stripping of power is highly suspect, given the judiciary's long history with corruption. So, we must ask, what could the long-term consequences of the judgment be?
Tell us.
In essence, the judiciary could exacerbate the very problem they think that they are trying to solve.
Oh, yes.
This is the Cobra effect in action.
Yep.
The Cobra effect occurs when incentives designed to solve a problem end up rewarding people for making it worse. The term originated as an anecdote from British India. The British government was so concerned about the number of venomous cobras in Delhi that it offered a bounty for every dead cobra. Initially, this was incredibly successful, and a large number of snakes were killed for the reward. However, people began to breed cobras and then kill them for the reward money.
Makes a lot of sense.
Of course it does.
Makes a lot of sense.
When the British government found out, the program was scrapped and the breeders released the cobras into the street. And in the end, the number of cobras that ended up with was higher than what the British had when they started.
Back to zero.
Back to zero. Even actually less than zero. Could it be possible that this decision will be subject to the Cobra effect? That in trying to check and prevent the misuse of power, the judiciary has facilitated the future abuse of power. Let me explain.
Yes.
First, the judiciary is incentivized to check what they see as a misuse of power. After the hand-tying of the Moi era, the judiciary are traumatized, no doubt about it. And they have carried this trauma into the present. They are still operating with the Moi mindset, impulsively defensive and deeply paranoid that someone, somewhere, is coming for them sometime.
Exactly.
However, this mindset is of the past and has no bearing on what the present reality is like. And the executive does not need to be checked to the extent that it has been. But in stripping the president of a power designed to check the judiciary has essentially opened the door for less than savory judges. The type that are easy to rent and even easier to buy. The type that will abuse judicial power. In short, the judiciary will end up with more cobras than when they started, and it may be they who bred them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
You know, today, I would like to proclaim that Mr. Raila Odinga, aka Baba Man, will be the next president of this republic, and it is a done deal.
Bold words.
Yesterday, Mr. Raila visited Kiambu and received what I would say is a roaring reception. Raila is gaining traction in the mountain, and the past few weeks have shown that. He is fishing Kikuyus one by one. I would like to hypothesize that Raila has adopted the hit them where it hurts strategy from the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. In this book, Greene explains how attacking the stronghold of your opponent can deliver the final blow to any chances your opponent has of victory. Now, I'm sure for all of you, you already know. It is rather obvious that the center of Ruto's presidential ambitions lie within the mountain.
True.
Without them, he stands no chance of victory in 2022.
very
None
true.
at all. And allow me to illustrate this for you with some numbers. Gema has a total of about 5.6 million votes. In all of the last 3 elections, Raila has received what? 44% of the national vote, okay? Keeping these figures constant would suggest that he is only, what, 6% away from becoming the next president in 2022?
Very small gap.
This translates to more or less 900,000 votes.
Whoa.
That is all Raila needs from Gema. Kiambu alone accounts for 1.2 million votes. This means that people of Kiambu, you can deliver Raila the numbers that he needs to win this election. Just hinting. On the other hand, for Ruto to stand any chance of winning the election, he would need the full support of Gema, at least 90%. And not just that, he would need Gema to turn out and vote to a man, the same way that they did in 2017 and in 2013. However, and sadly, history shows us that when Gema leadership is split, or when Gema is not represented on the ballot, all you can attain is a turnout of 66% or so. That is the turnout that Ruto should expect. And keeping in mind that the current voter registration apathy in Gema, it is clear that voter turnout will also be low. Another disadvantage for Ruto. But as I conclude, what is my point here? Raila understands that by taking away Ruto's center of power, he has buried him. It is fait accompli. Done. Complete. Yes.
Incredibly bold words there, GK. Very bold. A very bold prediction.
All right. Today, I was inspired to talk about the significance of President Uhuru Kenyatta's inviting of Lazarus Chakwera, president of Malawi, to attend Wednesday's Mashujaa celebration.
Very eloquent man.
Now, in Malawi's elections last year, Chakwera was elected president after securing a victory against the incumbent president, Peter Mutharika. Looking back at our own history, there exists deep-rooted camaraderie between our countries and forefathers, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and Malawi's Hastings Kamuzu Banda. Now,
love that name.
The purpose of this invite was simple. It was to reignite that spark. Now, here's how the similarities fall almost perfectly into place. Firstly, we gained our independence a year apart. Kenya's fight and Malawi's fight were a shared and almost symbiotic relationship. It was a struggle against the same foreign colonizer. Second, Mzee Jomo and Mzee Banda were both prime ministers and subsequently became presidents of their respective countries. It is by this relationship that we have a Banda Street, Hapo CBD, connected to Kenyatta Avenue, and also a Jomo Kenyatta Road in Malawi.
Actually, I think there's more than one. At least that's what he said in his speech.
And as history repeats itself, Mzee Jomo has also hosted the founding father of Malawi in a joyous October such as this one. Come on, good people. The country has been unlocked. Is that a coincidence? The third similarity. Chakwera won the election last year after fresh elections were ordered. The Constitutional Court nullified Malawi's May 2019 general election. Does this sound familiar?
It rings a bell.
This very same court found that the election process was absolutely butchered by the electoral body and the processes had some loopholes. Now, following in Kenya's footsteps in 2017, Malawi became the second sub-Saharan African country to have a presidential poll that was set aside. See a certain Maraga judgment. Copy-paste. Now, these founding fathers had one thing in mind, to craft a bright future for their people post-independence. With shared visions, they deliberated on issues of leadership and the spirit of Pan-Africanism that was spreading like wildfire across the continent. Now, Chakwera was a vehement opposition leader in the Malawi Congress Party, we call it MCP, now, which is Africa's first independence party to return to the seat of power after a serious dry spell. Now, his win has sent shockwaves across the continent. It is the first time an opposition party has democratically won power after a nullified election. Looking away from Lilongwe, the significance of Chakwera's win has not been lost on other long-suffering opposition leaders. Similarly, Hakainde Hichilema, HH of
Yes.
Zambia, was a long-serving veteran opposition leader by blood. He clinched the presidential seat on his 5th attempt. Even Baba marked present and was in attendance for the feted inauguration of HH. Baba, I hope you took some notes. Now, let's pause for a minute. Could this be a gentle nod from President Uhuru Kenyatta to none other than Baba of the grand opportunity that has been laid before him?
Potentially.
Is it possible that this is an indication that the winds of change are coming?
Ooh, I wonder. You know what? We have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge the headlines for you. We ask ourselves these 3 questions.
Yes.
Number 1, is the headline topical or is it speculative? Number 2, is it repetitive or groundbreaking? And number 3, is it thoughtful or just plain lazy? Okay, let me reread the headlines for you. The Daily Nation, governors in race to own 2022 parties. The Standard, another blow to Uhuru. The Star, Musalia, I'll ask Uhuru if he's supporting Raila. And the People Daily, will Uhuru heed order on judges? Okay, so the Daily Nation
Yes.
caught my attention.
Okay.
Because they're speaking to a crisis that is going to sort of appear, where you have a number of governors who finish their 2 terms and they're wondering what to do next.
Yeah, kind of lost, eh?
Like Joho
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, do you become an MP or do you run for the
Senate
for
or-
senator or do you become
Do you retire also?
Yeah, you
Oh
can
yeah, you could retire or run for president, I was going to say. So, the Daily Nation, what do you guys think about it?
Well, personally, I think that it's saying nothing new, but it is noting a remarkable change in the electoral landscape. Remember, as Professor Mutahi Nguni has said, that there are 3 things that determine the electoral landscape. That
Okay.
is positioning, velocity, and terrain.
Yeah.
And the Nation is reporting that governors are now in a race, therefore increasing the speed to own their own 2022 political
Yes.
parties.
Yeah.
We've often talked about here about the importance of such a move or why people might want to do that.
Yeah.
So having had that discussion many a time on this very panel, I'm inclined to believe that this headline is not telling us anything new.
Okay, so let's go to
Yeah.
the Standard. Another blow to Uhuru. It's a very negative headline, but it is a little accurate. It's unfortunate rather than it is positive. So I don't think I'd give it. But what do you guys think about it?
I think it's basically just stating the facts, as you said, but in a bit of a low tone. It's talking about how the power of the president has been, undermined for a bit.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a question about authority and what decisions are about to fall after this blow.
Yeah. Okay, so the Star, Musalia, I'll ask Uhuru if he's supporting Raila. So this was like an interview piece. I glanced through it and I was not very impressed myself. Nothing new, and so it's not necessarily topical in my opinion.
Yes.
I think like it's a wasted headline.
And the People Daily, will Uhuru heed order on judges? What do you guys think about that one?
I think it definitely invites a conversation. Like anytime you ask a question, you're definitely inviting a dialogue.
Yeah.
However, I also think that what it is inferring is a bit, not even a bit, it's just unfair.
Yeah.
Right. GW, what do you think?
I feel like it's like the only word that sticks out to me there is heed. That takes a bit of a negative lens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But there must be reasons why HE has held back or held off on this decision.
Yeah.
And until those reasons are made clear, I think they should fall back.
Okay, so from my basic analysis, I think we do not have any winning headline. Is that the case?
No winning headline.
None
Okay,
at all.
so no winning headline. GW may toss.
Fun things.
Okay,
Fun things.
on to the political pieces that we call cartoons for you, where we also have a 3-part criteria that we use to break them down. We ask ourselves, is the cartoon humorous or dry? Is it satirical or pessimistic? And finally, is it effective or is it just plain lazy? So I will begin by describing the Daily Nation,
Go
Mr.
for
Ndula.
it.
Okay, so we have a track, which is one of his favorite sort of pictures. We always see tracks. So people are at the starters line. We have Baby Gideon there with his red kashots. He seems to have fallen over, or he's just chilling.
I think it might just be chilling.
Then you have Mudavadi, who's ready to go, but he's being smacked by the wipers.
The wipers.
The wipers of
On Kalonzo's
They're
head.
blocking his view.
And Wetangula is at the back, sort of, he looks like he's not happy, sort of mourning, just staring at these guys
Yes,
going.
yeah.
But ahead in the front of the race is Raila and Ruto sort of going blow to blow and taking off all the way to the 2022 election. So I mean, and Chebukati is the one holding the starter gun. So I suppose they're saying that it's not yet happened. The process of potential what's the word? Yes, campaigning.
Yes,
so
that's
the
the
process
word.
hasn't yet officially happened, but Baba and Ruto are on the races. So I mean, it's a funny. The funniest thing on this cartoon is the wipers on
yeah.
Kalonzo's head.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's taking us through the star? GW, why don't you take us through the star?
I'll take you through the star. And here we have a bit of crowd in the scene. You can see there's some cars in the back which look like they've knocked each other. And at the front of the door, there's our dear president with a huge padlock next to it.
Unlocked.
I guess
It's
suggesting he has
unlocked, yeah.
unlocked some doors for the rest of the country. And it just looks like pandemonium,
And
if I'm not wrong.
Kenyan parties are back on the
But
streets.
okay, more than it being a social commentary of what could or might happen after now the curfew has been lifted, I feel like it's a bit of a negative view, like to paint Kenyans as this cartoonist could have depicted a thriving 24/7 economy.
Yeah.
In my view,
It's true, but I do see the humor in it because to some extent this is kind of what happened. Guys were just waiting. The curfew ended, people have partied, back to crashing cars, back to the guys on the street. But the question is, did they really stop?
I mean, the one thing I will fault the star for is how they've somehow, like, to my mind, seem to imply that President Uhuru is responsible for all this debauchery by having him stand right by the door, kind of smiling placidly as, you know, the Kenyan citizens are doing their shenanigans. And that I find is obviously very, very unfair on the part of the star.
Okay, so take us through the People Daily, yeah?
Of course. So in the People Daily, what you see is you have a particularly large Uhuru in his characteristic river text shirt. He is holding a door open, again, alluding to the fact that the president opened up the country again. We no longer have curfew. And you see a mass of very excited, very happy people running through the door towards, as we affectionately call it, a boti. And the boti's name is Mashuja de Goodies. And the president is, and there are, before I get to what the president is saying, the number of people are like sticking their head into the bottle, trying to run up to drink its contents. And as this is happening, the president is saying, Sasa mkona uhuru. And I like that turn of phrase very, very much.
Sort of asking, now
you're free. Now you are free.
After all it's done, now you're with me. What I find hilarious is the authors, the cartoonist is called Stanoa. The first guy jumping into the bottle
It's Stano.
Stano himself, he's been waiting.
He's been waiting.
Yes, Stano, yes.
That was well picked out.
I think it's a hilarious cartoon, to be honest, because it's true. All the goodies, all the things is done.
Yes.
All people wanted to hear was curfew is over. So shall we award it with our winning cartoon?
I think so.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, so the winning cartoon is the People Daily. So on a day where we had no winning headline and a winning cartoon from the People Daily, I would like to leave you with this about Mashujaa Day and about heroes, because that was the week we've had. It says, heroes are made by the path they choose, not the power that they are graced with.
Amen.
Okay, so don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on your TV screens. Find us on Pang, Free to Air, GoTV, and Star Times. Have a beautiful weekend.
Bye.
Take care.